Most businesses get AI wrong, they dive into big flashy projects, spend a fortune, and end up failing. The smarter play, think small. In this clip from the SME Growth podcast, I talk about how to approach AI in a way that saves money, builds momentum, and actually works. Links to the full episode are in the description.
You talked a bit about starting small then, and you've also talked before about running AI experiments as a way of giving people just a bit more creativity, I suppose, and ideas. So how would you, in a company that's still at the beginning of this journey, how would you structure something that's helping them to come up with experiments to think of the right thing to do?
I think something I learned from my user experience days, people are experts in their problems. They're not experts in the solutions to their problems, which is great for us as business owners.
There's a soundbite that will definitely make it onto YouTube. Yeah.
Because you always get the argument in innovation. It's the Henry Ford quote, which I don't think he actually ever said, of if I asked my customers what they want, they would have said faster horses, right? Yeah. So people say you should never ask your customers what they want. And it's like, well, yeah, obviously. We ask them about their problems. We decide how to serve and solve that. When you lift this lid in your business, if you have a genuine what we call problem scouting session, which is, let's talk to the senior leadership team. What's driving their mental? Where are the constraints in the business? Now, let's go and get the ground truth, because what we think as the leadership team, as soon as you get past that 5, 10, 15 people,
that's been filtered and Chinese whispered and all sorts.
Exactly, right. Now let's go and do some half-hour conversations. Be careful with who you assign to do this, because having the CEO do it has some...
Yeah, that will lead the witness.
Yeah, exactly, right. But if you can conduct these interviews and talk to them about their roles, and you ask them this question of what are you doing when you are being most impactful? What gets in the way of that? And you talk to them about the issues with that, they will divulge to you problems in your process, lacking infrastructure or products that you could maybe buy, right? Because it is a case of buy or build. It's not, you're not always
Have they been teed up for the fact that you're looking for possible AI projects so that they start tailoring what they say, or do you tend to not even declare why you're asking the question?
We just say we're doing an analysis of
it's like a
tooling.
Business analyst type job.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you have to, I mean, this is an art, right? I don't want to make people scared around doing this, because having the conversation is better than not having the conversation. There are ways to have a very good conversation, which is, how do you ask great questions? What, where, when, why, how? You know, don't say leading things, but actually ask questions. And as my primary school teacher always used to say to me, Lee, you've got 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason. Use them in that ratio, which I struggle with. But we did this recently with a business, and we came up with 70 candidate projects. That does not mean you immediately run and go, right, now let's do 70 agents. Like,
it's a good list to choose from, though, right?
It's a good list to choose from.
Target-rich environment.
Yeah. And actually, there'll be a couple there that are good candidates.
Yeah. And did they jump out?
They really jump out, because what we're looking for in the start with the candidate projects is what is small, self-contained. It doesn't need necessarily giant infrastructure changes to complete. It doesn't need us to get permission from 5 different stakeholders within the business.
And within commonly available tools, I'm thinking Copilot or
exactly that.
AI.
Yeah, we don't want to start at the level of, let's create a custom land graph coded agent and we're going to have to set up all this host. That's going to give us more power. But right now we're solving small problems. Yeah. Because when you do that in the business, you start to build the culture of, what we're really doing is viewing a business as the machine. It's the machine that takes attention in at the top, solves a problem, and hopefully piles cash out at the bottom. You can get your team on side, because there's a fear, right? Where if you just burst in the door after having listened to the latest Diary of a CEO podcast or whatever about AI agents.
Trust me, I'm an AI expert. I'm going to solve all your problems. Everyone runs for the
Everyone goes, oh, you're trying to replace me? How am I going to pay my mortgage? You get resistance and you get people digging their heels in. But if you actually help them come up with the ideas and direct where you're applying AI so it's helping them, and you're very clear with that, actually you start to build a culture where people will offer, I've got an idea for this.
The link to the full episode is in the description. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this video, I think you may like this one too.